what's up, peeps? It's Ellie Knight, and I am back with my review of Castle Hangnail. Now, I literally was sitting at my desk for, what time is it? For like an hour, thinking, I really need to just put my headset on and record my review of Castle Hangnail, because I'm literally sitting at my computer, and my software is literally open on my desktop right now, and I've literally finished the book. I've literally done all these things. There's no reason why I shouldn't be reviewing this book right now, which is why the entire reason I sat down at my desk in the first place. Unfortunately, I also foolishly left open a document of my serialized novel that's on my Patreon. I will link that below. And I'm in the middle of editing one of the chapters because I noticed a couple typos, and so then I started reading it, and I was like, I don't want to do anything else. I'm just going to read this. And so I actually have stopped in the middle of a chapter because I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been sitting here for an hour. I need to review Castle Hangnail like a good person instead of being a slacker, because I'm a slacker all the time. Actually, I'm not, okay, though. Like, I'm totally kidding. Don't anyone think that I'm being serious about being a slacker, because I'm totally not. It's just that I have really bad ADD, and I have so many things that I need to do. Job applications. I'm trying to do some self-employed transcription work. I have to reapply for unemployment because they disqualified me. There's a lot of shit going on, and it's not relevant to the review, so I'm sorry. Also, it's just I've been up for a long time, and I have a headache. So I'm probably actually in every video that I record for the next, 4 weeks, I'm probably going to, at some point, say I have a headache in every one of them. Because I've had a tension headache, for literally the last month and some change. My head has been hurting every day, not even kidding, because I've been grinding my teeth in my sleep. And that can cause tension headaches. Didn't know that, so my brain hurts. That's also why I'm reviewing Castle Hangnail specifically, because that's why I read it, reread it, and that's why I'm reviewing it. It's because it made me happy. So Castle Hangnail, it's by Ursula Vernon. It's the cutest little middle grade book. Okay, now we're actually getting to the actual review. Sorry. It's the cutest little book. So I read it, reread it. I keep forgetting to say that I reread it, because I read it when it came out last year. I reread it for Novemberween, because most of the books that I am reading for Novemberween are rereads. I don't have very many books that are scary anyway, or spooky in any way. The only one that I have that I haven't read, I'm actually in the middle of it, is Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury, and I have an audiobook for that, but the audiobook is really quiet, and it's really old, the audiobook, so it's all crackly. My dad took the tapes. They were on cassette tape. That's how old this audiobook is. Took the cassette tapes and turned them into MP3. He has a converter of some kind. I don't know how he did it. So now it's an MP3, but it sounds like it's on tape. It's so bad. But so I specifically decided to start with Castle Hangnail for Novemberween, because even though I posted my review for Worlds of Ink and Shadow first, that review was recorded before Novemberween started, and I'm like, you know what, I should post it for Novemberween, because that book is freaky. Castle Hangnail is about this 12-year-old girl named Molly, who is a witch. That's a given. Apparently in this, it's just a given that certain people are born with magic and certain people aren't. And so she has magic. She's a twin. She's a bad twin, quote unquote. She's not an evil twin. She's a bad twin. They make a very big distinction in the book between wicked and evil, and bad and evil. Because Molly is the bad twin, and she's a wicked witch, quote unquote, but she's not evil. And you actually see an evil sorceress. The evil sorceress is the antagonist, the main antagonist. And so Molly shows up at Castle Hangnail. Castle Hangnail hasn't had a master. You know how, in those old black and white horror movies, Frankenstein movies with the eye gores? They've got, the weird eye, and they're all stitched together, and they've got, the hunchback, and, they drag one leg behind them, and they're like, yes, master, right? And Tom Hanks, I think it was, made a movie where he played an Igor at one point. It was him and a bunch of other people that I don't remember, actually. All I remember is Tom Hanks was in it. I think it was Tom Hanks. Or no, not Tom Hanks, the other one. John Cusack. I always mix them up. Anyway, so that's the kind of castle that she went to. That's what Castle Hangnail is. It's that kind of castle. And they need a master. And so the minions that are there, there's the Major Domo. He's the, yes, master type. And then there's a not voodoo doll named Pins. And there's a minotaur who's the cook, and her son who's the gardener, and there's an empty suit of haunted armor because the guy that used to be in the armor got his head chopped off by an evil king like centuries ago, and so now he haunts the armor. And which is actually funny because he has a crush on the neighbor, this old black lady who helps with the garden and stuff sometimes because she has a really great garden going on at her house, and so she comes over to help out in the castle garden sometimes in exchange for like plants and stuff. And every time, the first time she comes over, the suit of armor, Sir Edward, is like, man, if I was 500 years younger and had a body. And like they all just kind of look at him like, yeah, but you don't have a body. Like, how are you even like romantically appreciating this woman? You have no pulse. I don't know. It's kind of funny. Like, they don't actually say that. It is very obvious that he's got a thing for this lady. It's so cute, though, that he has a thing for this woman. Because, like, it's so courtly and stuff. Like, she ends up getting, like, attacked by the evil sorceress. And he's like, no! He was like, I was willing to submit to a lot of shit. But no! You went after my woman, bitch! It's so cute. He doesn't, obviously, it's a middle grade book, so he doesn't say bitch. But that's, like, the attitude. Anyway, so Molly shows up. And the thing is that Castle Hangnail is going to be, quote-unquote, decommissioned by the Board of Magic. And that means they're going to suck the magic out of the castle and then tear it down. And all the minions are going to be out of a job. And the town, the little village that surrounds the castle is going to be, like, gentrified and made, like, very urban. And so it's going to lose all of its, like, historic charm. And, like, they're going to fill in the pond or the lake with cement and chase off all the magical creatures. It's, like, it's super sad. And so they need a new master in order to, because I guess, like, the castle can't be masterless. Apparently, if that happens, if it stays that way for too long, the magic starts doing a little weird thing and, like, starts attacking random people and things. It needs somebody to channel it. So now you've got this 12-year-old girl, and she shows up, and Major Domo, the Igor dude, is like, who are you? And she's like, I'm the Wicked Witch. I got the invitation. I'm here to be the new master of Castle Hangnail. And he's like, are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. How old are you? I'm 12. And he's just like, oh god, what? And so he's, like, trying to deal with the fact that she's 12, and she also, is, like, it turns out she actually has very little magical training. She can do two things really well. One of the things is if she holds her breath, she turns invisible. The other thing is apparently she can rip off her own shadow and dance with it. What she doesn't know is that spell is actually incredibly advanced. You find out at the end of the book that it is, like, one of the most advanced spells that ever was, ever, and it's incredibly dangerous. And she's really good at it, but she doesn't know that it's dangerous. She thinks it's like a little, what do they call, in Uprooted they have a word for little spells, cantrip. It's not like a big deal at all. It's, it's like a card trick, basically. And it turns out, no, it's actually a huge deal, and it's super dangerous. And people can, like, die if she's not careful, and she didn't know that, because the person who taught her the spell didn't tell her that. The person who taught her the spell told her it was a really simple, easy spell because that person's evil. Oh, I just spit on my computer. Ick. It's really just a cute little book. It kind of drags in the middle, but basically what happens is that Molly has to do a series of tasks set by the Board of Magic in order to prove that she has the right to be the master of Castle Hangnail. And so the book is about her doing these tasks, but at the same time you find out very early on in the book that Molly actually, the invitation to be the master of the castle did not go to Molly. It went to somebody else. And so she took it. And you find out the reason why she took it is because the person who got the invitation threw the invitation away and was like, I'm not going because that place sounds terrible. And not terrible like awful, terrible like lame. Excuse my ableist language, but I'm pretty sure that's the word she used. She basically was like, that sounds terrible and awful and stupid and I don't want to do it ever because you'd have to be a loser to want to go there. And Molly was like, this is literally what she says. She's like, the castle, it sounded like a nice little castle, and I thought maybe you needed a little witch. And, like, it was, like, the cutest thing. She was like, I thought a little castle needed a little witch, so I went. And I was like, that's so awesome! Anyway, so it's just, she manages to, like, win the hearts of the people, and, like, you see she's the perfect embodiment of what you would expect a 12-year-old quote-unquote wicked witch to be. Like, when I think of, the thing is, witches in fiction are vilified all the time. You guys may have heard of Amanda Lovelace, and she wrote a book called The Princess Saves Herself in this one, which is a book of poetry. And she's got another book coming out next year called The Witch Doesn't Burn in this one. And because it kind of explores, like, from what I understand, because I haven't read it, it explores the theme that strong women were vilified as witches for a long time. And so, like, in literature now, in fiction, especially in teen fiction and middle grade, there's been, like, this push in publishing to retake a lot of the labels that were used to vilify women in the past, and one of them is witch. And so you can see that really well in this book. And ow! Ooh, there's something wrong with me. Oh well, I'll fix it later. I don't know what it is, but my foot hurts all of a sudden. You can see that, like, you can see Ursula Vernon reclaiming the Wicked Witch thing, because, yeah, Molly does some things that aren't very nice sometimes, but it's like, basically she's spitting on the girls should be nice all the time concept, because when she's mean, it's because the person deserves it. And, you know, her voice sounds very genuine, and she's like the cutest little witch ever. She pulls off this, like, gargantuan magical ritual and skips off to bed, and Major Domo's like, ugh, she's skipping. She should be sweeping out grandly, and everyone else was like, dude, shut up, she's adorable. Major Domo's kind of annoying, though, because, like, you can see why he is such a stuffy old man, and probably a stuffed old man, because he's made out of different body parts, because he's very old, and he's very traditional, and he is very worried about what's going to happen to Castle Hangnail. Castle Hangnail is his home. It's a huge deal that decommissioning is looming on the horizon. It's a big deal for him. So you can kind of see why he's kind of a jerk, but at the same time, Molly's 12 years old, and he's kind of a jerk. And, like, he doesn't want to care about her. He does. He ends up caring about her, and he ends up actually loving her very much. But he doesn't want to, and you can tell, because the book splits between his point of view and Molly's point of view. The other thing that I really liked about this book, and this is the only reason why I would caution people about reading it, is it explores the nature of emotional abuse. Because Molly's magical mentor, quote unquote, not actually a mentor, she's a bitch, Molly's magical mentor is the antagonist of the book. And you find out that she's actually been abusing Molly this whole time. And Molly actually talks to Major Domo about it. And they don't use the word abuse, but the way Molly talks about how Eudaimonia is the sorceress's name, how Eudaimonia makes her feel, is very much like abuse. It really is. It's basically what it is. She's describing an abusive relationship. And she does kind of throw off the hooks that Eudaimonia has in her a little too easily, but it is a middle grade book, and Ursula Vernon was running out of space by the end. But it's a really interesting look at, in a way that, like, somebody who would read middle grade would understand. Because the thing is, people read up. So, like, Molly's 12, so probably like an 8 or 9-year-old would be reading this book. And anyone older than that can read the book, yes. But the way books are written when they, for their target audience, you write a book for your target audience, and then if older people like it, then, yay. And so the abuse is explored and explained in a way that the target audience can definitely understand, and empathize with, and then also, like, later apply that situation to their own lives if they run into it, and recognize the abuse for what it is. And I think that's really cool. But it is just the cutest little book. I love it so much. The different magical things that Molly does, and, like, the magic is just there. Like, it's a given. It's not like, okay, not everyone knows. Even her parents know. Molly's parents know she's a witch. Like, that's not a secret. And she's not adopted either. Now, her parents don't want her to be a witch, because apparently a lot of witches in their part of the world have gone to the bad, quote unquote, and so they're worried she's going to be like an evil sorceress, and they are, like, a little iffy on the difference between an evil sorceress and a wicked witch, but they work on that in the book. Like, Molly's parents aren't in the book, but by the end of the book, it's pretty clear that, thanks to the neighbor lady and Major Domo, that the parents are more willing to let Molly try to do her thing without worrying that she's going to turn into, like, a child sacrificing, Satan worshipping demon brat. I don't know. It's a really fun little book, and I recommend it to everybody. I was not triggered by the abuse aspect, but other people might be, so I do want to say that is there. But it's very low key and handled in a very sensitive way, and you don't it never gets really dark. Um, so there's that. It's a really fun book. It's just fun, and and it plays on a lot of those old horror Hollywood tropes, like, again, like the whole yes master, and it's so cute, and I love it so much, and everybody should read it. And I think I have already posted my Tumblr and my Tumblr review of the book I think I put a Tumblr review of the book on Tumblr a while ago, and if I have, I will link it in the doobly-doo below. But in the meantime, thanks for listening, and if you enjoyed what you heard, like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to check me out on Tumblr, Twitter, Pinterest, Patreon, Etsy, fanfiction.net, fictionpress.com, Wattpad, Goodreads, or buy me a coffee at any of the links down below. Thanks so much, and I love you all. Bye! I'm getting so much better at this outro, man! Yay! I finally actually just, sat down and scripted one out. That's what everyone else did. I should have done that way before now. I'm silly. Anyway, bye! Happy November Ween!